Okay, let's dive right in. We're going to talk about a simple, but honestly, revolutionary idea that's finally cleaning up the huge, tangled mess of AI integration. It's called the Model Context Protocol, or MCP for short, and it is totally changing how AI connects to, well, pretty much everything.
So, here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we'll look at the massive problem everyone was running into. Then, we'll introduce the brilliant solution. We'll peek under the hood to see how it works, check out why it's absolutely blowing up right now, and then wrap up with a look at the incredible future this whole thing unlocks.
All right, first up, let's set the scene. Before MCP came along, trying to get your AI to actually use your company's tools and data was, to put it lightly, a giant headache.
And you might be wondering, why was it so hard? It feels like it should be pretty straightforward, right? But the reality was, it created this enormous behind-the-scenes engineering disaster that was actually holding back the entire field of AI. Okay, so this grid right here, this visualizes what developers were calling the N by M integration problem. Just think about it. If you had, say, 10 different AI models you wanted to use, and 100 different tools like Slack and Salesforce, you had to build a completely custom connector for every single box on this grid. Each one was different, each one was brittle, and each one was a massive pain to maintain. 10 models, 100 tools, that's 1,000 unique integrations you have to build and support. It was a technical nightmare. So to fix that N by M nightmare, the industry needed to completely rethink the problem. It needed a universal standard.
And this analogy is just perfect. It's exactly the right way to think about it. Instead of 1,000 different plugs and adapters, MCP creates one single standard port. You just build your tool to be MCP compliant one time, and boom, any AI that speaks MCP can plug right in. It's that simple and that incredibly powerful.
So the official definition is that MCP is an open protocol that acts like a shared language. But what it really does is take that chaotic N times M problem and turn it into a beautiful, simple N plus M problem. The model just needs to know MCP, and the tool just needs to know MCP. That's it. The integration nightmare is solved. Okay, so a universal connector sounds great, but how does it actually work under the hood? Let's break down the key parts really quickly, without getting too lost in the technical jargon.
There are really just three main players in this dance. First, you've got the host. That's the AI app you're actually using, the thing running the show. Then, living inside the host, you have clients. Think of them like specialized middle managers. Each client has one job: manage the connection to one specific tool. And finally, you have the server. That's the tool itself, your database, your GitHub repo, whatever. It's the one providing all the good stuff.
But what is that good stuff we're talking about? What can a server actually give to an AI model? Well, it all boils down to three fundamental building blocks, which the protocol calls primitives.
First up are tools. You can think of these as the verbs. Tools are actual functions the AI can execute. This is how an AI can do stuff in the real world, like query a database, create a ticket, or send an email. It basically gives the AI hands. Next, we have resources. These are the nouns. Resources are read-only sources of data that give the AI context. This is how an AI knows things, like the contents of a file you have open or the latest sales numbers from a report. This gives the AI its eyes and ears.
And finally, there are prompts. Now, this is a really important one. Think of prompts as the playbook or the instruction manual. They're templates that guide the AI through a complex task, making sure it does it correctly and in the right order every single time.
So, we've got this really elegant, really smart solution. But the big question is, are people actually using it? And the answer to that is a huge, resounding yes. We are hitting a critical tipping point as we speak.
I mean, just look at how fast this is moving. MCP was only introduced in late 2024. By 2025, you've got the heavy hitters, OpenAI, Anthropic, all standardizing on it, and the ecosystem just exploded to over 1,000 servers. And now, all signs point to 2026 being the year this goes from experiments to full-scale enterprise-wide deployments.
And you know what happens when the tech takes off? The money follows. The market for this stuff is already at almost $2 billion in 2025, and it's projected to just skyrocket past $10 billion by 2028. This isn't some niche protocol anymore, it's a foundational economic shift.
Let's just pause on this number for a second. Over 1,000. 1,000 tools and data sources made available to the entire AI ecosystem in just a matter of months. That is the incredible power of an open standard. It's like a Cambrian explosion of connectivity for AI.
So what's the end game here? What does a world that's all wired up with this universal AI plug actually look like?
What it enables is a whole new class of powerful, what we call agentic AI. That's AI that can actually take actions on its own to achieve a goal. Imagine an AI that can manage a new employee's entire onboarding, accessing HR systems for paperwork, IT tools for a laptop, and facilities for a badge, all seamlessly. Or AIs that monitor financial markets in real time. Or AIs that securely help doctors by pulling up exactly the right patient data during a diagnosis. This is the stuff that becomes possible.
So the crucial point, the real takeaway here is this. MCP started as a clever protocol for developers, but it is quickly becoming something so much bigger. It is the fundamental infrastructure, the pipes, the wiring, for the entire next generation of AI that doesn't just talk, but actually does.
And that leaves us with a really fascinating thought to end on. For the first time ever, we're building a world where any AI can connect to any tool. The communication barriers are just falling away. So the only real question left is, what are we going to build next?